Hi, I'm Norman Perolo, a furniture designer maker at Perolo Design and a woodworking educator author at Wood Skills. Hi, I'd like to present the tea cabinet, a series of 3 tea cabinets I've designed and developed over the past few weeks. And this is the original version, and it's a 2-level with a sort of an asymmetric layout of a top level over a bottom level with a base, with a contrasting base. If you notice, the separators are lined up and everything, so that provides an interesting aesthetic. The drawers can serve as the whole tea bags or any tea apparatus you might have. And the little compartment, the little opening on the side is for example, a teacup. And the next version is quite similar. It's just, if you notice, it's offset a different way. The top compartment is offset to the left as opposed to the right, just to make it different. It's a little wider. I've changed some of the dimensions. The handles are different. This is a yellow heart or Power Morello. I actually design and create the handles. And again, that little opening on the side for a teacup, just to add to the aesthetic. And the drawers are also conserved for multiple purposes. It's a very versatile box. I call it a tea cabinet, but you can use it for almost anything. And it's fairly light, and it has a nice, in this case, the base, I've beveled the base. It's more of a solid base, and it's beveled, whereas this is a built-up frame on this one. So we're getting to the project itself, and this is the middle version. This is a more interesting, so I've decided to add to the tea cabinet, and I've added a 3rd level. And let's see, originally I had designed it with 2 levels with an opening, but then I thought, why not stagger the middle compartment and raise it on a platform of a raised platform to give it a reveal, a consistent reveal all around. And then that creates an opening, as you can see here, the opening, and that's more drama to the aesthetic. It becomes more of a focal point, that middle opening that's open in the back, so light gets in the back and the front. So it's quite interesting. And having done that, I have automatically have 2 platforms for tea apparatus or teacups or any interesting decorative cups you might have. And of course, that top drawer that adds to the functionality. So it's a series of 6 drawers now. The project to build the course revolves around this particular tea cabinet. I provide considerable detail on building it. It starts with a board or 2. Well, the contrasting part, this is holly, this is Douglas fir, rift-sawn Douglas fir, and the actual separators, dividers to provide the reveal are black limba. But you can use any contrasting woods, and I actually talk about how to select the proper wood to create this waterfall pattern. So what I'll do is I'll put these aside, these 2, and I will focus on this one, and I can explain some of the characteristics that I've designed into this particular tea cabinet. And by the way, they all have that waterfall grain pattern. You can probably see it there. It's a waterfall grain pattern. So it's a case miter, and I've had to develop techniques and processes to create these precision case miters, these long case miters at over 7 inches, to be able to provide that waterfall pattern, the matching grain all around. That's consistent throughout the 3 in the series, and this one included. And I talk about that at length in the actual course to build. So we'll talk about this particular tea cabinet, the 3-level version. That's actually part of the project or the build or the course that you have. And this is, again, these outside platforms serve to hold a decorative object, so it's designed that way with the middle, the raised one. This standalone compartment at the very top creates an opening through this reveal, creates an opening for that middle decorative object. So that adds to the drama and the aesthetic and creates this focal point. So it's quite interesting. It's an interesting design. I think it's probably as far as I would go with this tea cabinet. Again, I cover the complete build from boards right through the design, the boards, right through to the designing the poles and adding the poles on at the very end and lining everything up, which is critical. And I also talk about creating this waterfall pattern that surrounds each of the compartments for the drawer. I call them compartments. So if you notice, the case miters are very precise, and I describe the techniques and processes I've developed to be able to perform that, because creating case miters over this depth or length is not simple to provide precision. So I've developed some processes and techniques to be able to do that, and I share that with you. And along with that, I share other techniques on creating rabbets and even the middle dividers. The vertical dividers are actually dadoed in some mortises. They're running lengthwise from front to back. That's described. Adding drawer stops, adding the backs of the panels, and I'll show that. Laying everything out precisely, because even if it's if one of the components is 1/8 of an inch over in the wrong way, a person can actually notice that. So it has to be perfectly arranged, and also the laying out the drawer pulls perfectly so they all line up. So there's quite a few techniques that I share with you on creating this and assembling it and selecting the woods. And so it's not a large piece of furniture. It's quite a small piece of furniture. It's very manageable. It doesn't take too much time to create, but by using my techniques and processes, you'll have a much better understanding of how to proceed and not have to reinvent the wheel. I've already done it. I've already thought about the laying things out, creating the case miters, dressing the consistent reveal all around, creating all the rabbets, and this is a view of the back. So creating rabbets for all of the back panels, how to select back panels, what to use for back panels, how to select contrasting woods. If you notice, I've used contrasting woods. I prefer, for this type of tea cabinet, the aesthetic I was striving for, it was a very light woods, and I really wanted the holly drawers. This is holly, so it's a natural white wood, and this is also light, normally light Douglas fir, and the darkest component is the separators, called the horizontal separators that provide the reveal, and the back panels, and the drawer bottoms. For example, this is a drawer with a drawer bottom. Some other features that I've actually designed into the build are the consistent sizes. So for example, these two drawers are consistent in size, so that makes it much easier when you create components in multiples. And the same with these two drawers. These two drawers, again, are different, but they're same size because of the spacing and the width and the depth. The depth's consistent throughout, but the width is a little different. You can select your own width, is what I'm saying. And so again, these drawers match. These drawers match. So they're interchangeable, and these ones are interchangeable. Again, you could, I provide very, very detailed CAD drawings in color on almost all the components, and the blow-up, exploded views of all the components, considerable information on dimensions. Watching the videos, you should have no problems building this if you have some woodworking experience and some equipment. So I use a combination of hand tools and power tools to create it. I use a bandsaw extensively, and I use hand planes, and I use a shooting board, and I use a bench hook, for example, and trimming down small components and cutting components down to size precisely. What else can I say? The base is also built up, as you'll see. So it's not a one solid piece of wood. It's a black limba, but it's built up in 4 pieces that come together, and they're arranged a certain way to handle the wood movement. Aside from that, it's quite an interesting build, and I'm very happy with it. It's not exactly a large piece of furniture. There isn't much wood involved per se, but the selecting of the wood becomes important, and I talk about how to do that to create that waterfall effect again. So if you notice the sides of if you look at this upper case, you'll notice the sides wrap around for that waterfall effect, and that's what I was striving for in the aesthetic too. So there's quite a few characteristics of this that are subtle, but they're eye-catching. The focal point, the waterfall effect, the design, it's compact, and you can, if you prefer, you can change some of the dimensions, of course, depending on the kind of size of wood you have available to you. But I describe all the technical aspects of building it at length, so you could easily adapt a different size platform or dimensions to to your own build, or just follow this my build, my project build in the course with the exact dimensions I provide in the CAD diagrams. So I hope you enjoy the build, and I look forward to seeing some of the results of people or woodworkers out there having accomplished the same build. So please subscribe to my YouTube woodworking channel, where I share more of my woodworking techniques, my woodworking philosophy, my thoughts on woodworking, and all the challenges I've experienced, and I introduce some of the new forms of woodworking I've discovered. And also visit woodskills.com, where I have a good selection of my books, both in print and digital format, on woodworking, and all my online courses, and I also offer some woodworking plans. I have maintained a regular blog on what I've got going on in my workshop and in woodworking in general. So enjoy.